Oh boy, Ms. Marvel Season 1. Let's talk about it. What is up, SmackNPie? SmackNPie here. So I waited patiently for all 6 episodes to drop before I can drop my review, a Muslim reacting or reviewing, per se, Ms. Marvel. So let me, without wasting your time, say the whole statement. This is not an Islamic representation or Islamic show. It's a show about Pakistani family in America struggling with their identity whilst having ties to their background, which contains cultural and religious ties. The priority of this show is culture first, and that's it. And in that sense, the show exceeds a lot of expectations. It blew my mind in a lot of areas. Cultural representation was on point. The partition was probably my favorite episode. Episode 5 was my favorite episode. Powers, we're gonna move on from that at the moment. Villains, we don't talk about them because they're non-existent here. What we talk about, we're left with 2 things: culture and religion. When we talk about culture, it's there. It's handled very well. And even then, when you look at the culture, there are a lot of things that are, stereotypical South Asian things, but a lot of them, you can be like, okay, I respect them for doing this. When do you see that kind of stuff? When do you see a Pakistani family not being villainized in the mainstream, in the Hollywood? So it is a major step in the right direction. I respect that. I applaud that. We can finally normalizing Muslims. We can finally normalizing South Asians. We're finally normalizing people from Pakistan, India, and all these other people. We're finally normalizing them and humanizing them. It is perfect. After years and decades of just villainizing them, we're finally going into the right direction. With that being said, let me talk a little bit about religion. When I see headlines like first Muslim superhero, breaking boundaries. Yeah, well, here's the thing. This is a teen show. There was a lot that would have been going in the wrong direction to begin with. Then adding on top of that it's a Muslim family in America, and then for American viewers, there was a lot going on from the get-go. There are some things in there that had to be there. Most of these characters are Muslim. Some of them are, practicing it, like Amir. A lot of them are, they're just giving you this sense that, okay, they are Muslims, but they're not like overly Muslims. They're just Muslims on a very chill way. And then you have, your, like I said, regular masjid prayer, Eid, and that's as far as it gets in terms of the religious representation. Now, I get it. This show's priorities are straight: family, culture, powers, because after all, it's an MCU show. They gotta do that. We'll talk about it in just a second. And then very at the bottom, there's like, okay, we gotta include some Islamic references here and there. Then you have your usual, Bismillah and MashaAllah and all of that stuff. So in terms of Islamic representation, yeah, it's majorly not there. The show itself is pretty enjoyable. I would put this over Hawkeye, mainly because of episode 5 and 6. Episode 5 is some of the best content I've seen in all of TV this year. Of course, Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, was my favorite Marvel character. Before I even, watched this show, she is in top 3, that's for sure. So the main actress, she killed it. And just so you know, if you are showing this that, hey, look, man, they are struggling with that aspect because they are in America, and, they gotta adapt to the American culture as well. They gotta adapt to that. Then they should have shown that struggle visibly. They did a little bit in the episode 1, but that's as far as it gets. That you're gonna show the family giving Kamala a hard time going to Avengers Con, but they're gonna be literally okay with her going to Zoe's party. Avengers Con should have been the second thing. Zoe's party should have been the first thing. Considering it's an Islamic household in the West, Zoe's party should have been the first thing and a major thing that family and Kamala, had argument over. There's free mixing there, there's boys, there's, alcohol there, all of this, it's a major red flags for any family whose kid is going there, let alone an Islamic or a South Asian family in the West. There's already red major flags there, but they didn't make any big deal about it. But they're gonna make a big deal of a whole episode on Avengers Con, a costume competitive event. They're gonna make a big deal about that, but nothing about that. And then, to add insult to the injury, they're gonna make Kamala drink a little bit of alcohol. The most reaction you're gonna get from Nakia, which I was really disappointed by, and Bruno, is that, come on, man, don't do, really? You're not gonna make, there was a big opportunity there. First of all, I was not okay with that decision, but number second, if you've done that, you had a major opportunity at your hands. She is now this drunk, right? She goes home. Maybe pictures go viral. parents see it, and now you have this whole big scene of parents seeing what her daughter has done. Maybe Zoe or someone evil taking a picture of her drinking alcohol. That goes viral, and the whole community in the masjid when she goes to the masjid, or when, other families or Illuminantes are there, they're making a big deal about it. God, bro, just give me this character and I'll show you how to accurately represent both the culture and religion. A lot of it I just tune out. There's one character I cannot stand, that's Kamran. Actor is great, but and then the villains, non-existent. We don't talk about it. Twitter has already expressed their voices and opinions on the villains, the clandestines, the jinns. I was so excited for them to really tackle jinns. They missed out another opportunity. Jinns are basically unseen in the shadows, right? They missed out on so many opportunities. In this culture, especially in a Muslim household, you had heard jinn stories when you were a kid, and you would always think that when, your parents, they read you that story and then they leave you, and then you're in your bed, you're looking at the darkness and you would think, oh, jinn is there. Oh my God, I'm going to see those eyes. They missed an opportunity there. What they could have done is they should have made a connection there. Kamala seeing jinn, literally, where we see as viewers that she is seeing jinn, and then she, gets scared as a kid, and then a few years later when she get the bangle and when she meets the clandestines or the jinns, she realizes that those jinns were actually there looking at her, observing her, because they knew that there was a connection there, and eventually they were waiting for her to get the bangle one way or another. Come on, I mean, it's rough and whatnot, but you can see where I'm going with it, right? But all this aside, all the negatives aside, it was an enjoyable show. Episode 5, Episode 6, fantastic. Fuego. It's not for everyone. Some say it's the worst MCU show, others say it's the best one, some say it's in the middle, some say it's, better, and you're gonna hear a lot of people saying it's way better than they thought, way better than they expected, and I'm in that portion of it. Once I realized what the show was about, what they were going for, I tuned in, and then they took me on a different ride. I would say Episode 3 is probably the weakest one. Episode 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Epic finale. Amazing Episode 5. Fantastic. Good Episode 4. Episode 3, non-existent. Villains, non-existent. Islamic representation, barely, if at all. So overall, what is my take on this review? What is my overall score? I'm just gonna say it's better than Hawkeye. It was really close between this and Hawkeye, but I'm gonna put this over. I just really want a series where I get to see Kate Bishop, I get to see Ms. Marvel, and I get to see Peter Parker. All in this, bro. Just imagine the conversations you can have. And now all of a sudden you've made me excited for the Marvels movie coming next year. Also, you've blown my mind, Marvel. I was really not expecting you to literally show Captain Marvel this show, but you did, and you did it so cleverly. Whoever wrote that final post-credit scene, you deserve to be in this industry, because we want to save Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel interaction meet up for the first time for the big screen, right? Because there's gonna be so much passion and wholesome moments there. But at the same time, you want a cameo or something here. So what do? Make them swap places because of the bangle, and now Captain Marvel's in space, and now she's here, and now Kamala, Ms. Marvel, she's in space, and that's where you lead into the Marvels. If the Marvels movie doesn't start with Kamala in space, I will riot. I had no plans of watching the Marvels, but now I am. I'm gonna leave you here. Do better, that's all I'm gonna say for season 2. Give us season 2. Do better in the Islamic representation, in the Muslim side of things, but I'm still happy with what we got. Yeah.